Hi everyone, welcome back to the Get Chatty about your local businesses series. And today I have my friend Lucas here with me. How are you?
I'm good.
Thank you so much for taking part in this series. And do you mind letting the audience know a little bit about yourself and what you do?
Yeah, sure. So I've been working in innovation entrepreneurial space for like a number of years now. I'm just finishing a PhD actually. So PhDs are part of this story, but really what I'm interested in is helping small businesses to evaluate their businesses. And I used to be pretty interested in the technology side of it, but now I'm sort of looking at solutions for small business that are technology agnostic or not so novel. I found that lots of benefits can be got to small business just from applying existing marketing and technology type equipment out there, software out there. So that's pretty much from work perspective what I've been doing, fine tuning the way I deliver that for a number of years.
It's quite interesting because with many of our business space have been going for a digital transformation in the past 10 years or so. But most of them are like, I wouldn't say most of them, but I would say that many of the small to medium business might have missed out from that one. So it's definitely, so that's definitely a space to fill. And we'll look at the bright side now that they test it out on other people. So so we're not at the time that we're the guinea pigs anymore.
True. But I mean, how much did it prove how quick we can all adapt and adopt? The small businesses in particular, like accelerated their learning and their technology adoption, like tenfold, it's amazing what adversity does to drive innovation. It just sort of creates that impetus to get it together.
Oh gosh, well look, I mean, we all need to look at the bright side of things, and something like a Zoom meeting or something like that, this is actually much easier for me and hopefully for you as well, because we all have our other obligation, like family, friends, and everything in between. So something like this is great. I'm going to carry on like using this for the Get Chatty series.
I agree. Especially like when you think about how much a meeting takes out of your day when you have to go somewhere to do it, especially if you're a bit of a hands-on operator for your business where you're dealing with the admin and a little bit of the finance and the marcoms. To be dragged away for a half-day meeting is problematic. So this means we can meet regularly with people, just really quickly add value, get to the point, and I think there's a lot of good to come out of this for sure.
Absolutely. I mean, downside is I haven't been ironing my pants for quite a few months. So,
well, yeah. At least you've got pants on.
There you go. Back to the interview. What prompted you to start your own business, New Age? Did I pronounce correctly?
Yeah, New Age as in knowledge. Well, previously I had a company and we worked with startups who were raising capital. So they were looking to raise capital. And what I found was in that whole industry of startups on this end wanting to raise money, and then venture capitalists on this end holding the golden chest, they really want unreasonable type small businesses that they're going to put money into, meaning that they won't really look at a regular small medium enterprise that has a tangible product, because tangible products in Australia, because our manufacturing costs are so high, we're not going to scale the companies. So the VCs, the venture capitalists, I just found that the model was broken because we were trying to chase the next Uber.
Yeah.
And there's a hell of a lot of good companies out there that need support, that are building, producing good tangible products here, and I thought that's really where I've got to focus.
It is actually something very interesting, because I noticed that, for example, if say the space in America or in Europe, if it is something that, even if it's say like an app or software or something like that, venture capital seems to be a really good fit with it. However, in Australia, that we have our own identity, we have our own way of producing and working with customers. So that's why there is a gap, a huge gap, that capital raising, it's kind of like, something's not.
I completely agree. That's one of the huge problems we've got. They expect these companies to have like a hockey stick curve of profit and loss, of revenue, mainly revenue, because they just want them to grow exponentially. So they run at a loss initially, then they raise the capital and they inject it in. But when you have a look at a lot of these companies, how they're doing it, they're just almost purchasing their customer. It's not customer acquisition cost. They're purchasing their scale, because the more you spend on marcons, it's a sales funnel. The more you're going to get bites and the more you're going to sell your product. Yep. But a lot of these products aren't sticky and they're completely overvalued.
Oh gosh.
And and then you've got, in Australia, all of the industries fell over, like automotive and aluminium and steel, but that was meant to happen. That's not a problem, because the really agile little disruptors were already up and about, rejigging what they could do. And largely they're going unnoticed still, even though we say we support that area. All of the R&D tax incentive and all of the government grants, they're just tailored towards product development, which is heavy investment back into R&D. Think about what else has to happen. Think about what else has to happen after you finish the R&D. You've got all of your marketing side, and there's no support for that.
Exactly. I think, hey, I'll say yes to that. Pay me extra, I'll do it in costumes. But so to close out the interview, do you mind sharing 2 of your top tips for individuals or creatives in small businesses about moving forward?
Yeah, I'd say the first thing is that there's lots of good technology already out there. So don't try and reinvent the wheel. Do a good search, even if it's just searching through Google. Find out what's available before you go and try and reinvent something. Okay, and especially if it's an Australian company, then you can work with them, get a good discounted rate, and utilize their platform or their technology and focus on what you do best. And I think that's probably number 1. Number 2, I would say technicians, creative, engineers, marketers, hang in there. I think your work for your reward is unheralded, but I think it's very soon going to be recognised. I think soon the government will reward non-R&D innovation, and that will flow back to acknowledge the work that everybody's doing out there. I think that might be enough.
Seriously, fingers crossed.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's going to turn. The governments now, they've seen what's happened during COVID. They know that the designers, technicians, engineers, and marketers are adding value, because there's no doubt about that. But it's just, how quick can the policies catch up to reward everybody else in that value chain to keep going and keep producing?
It's a very interesting time to be in.
Yeah, I think we'll see change. It just doesn't happen quickly.
No,
not with the government.
Oh gosh, usually it would take forever, but you would take a while. Lucas, thank you so much for your time, for taking part in this interview. Get Chatty about your local businesses. Now, do you mind telling people how they can find you?
Yeah, at the moment, the only social media I use is LinkedIn, so I don't actually have a Facebook or Twitter or anything like that, not for personal or anything, but LinkedIn, you can find me, and newledge.io, which is NEWLEDGE.io. And feel free to contact me, my email address as well, Lucas, LUCAS, @newledge.io. Happy to help, and I think we can create a lot of value together. So be happy to hear from any small businesses with a product that they want to increase the value of and or save some money in their business.
There's no harm to start a conversation. I think it's just, it is time to just kind of just send an email, send a message, see how it all goes. Seriously.
That's right.
And in that case, thank you so much for taking part in this, and good luck with New Age, and all the contact information are underneath this video. And so let's keep on chatting about businesses. Thank you.
That's great. See you later.